Greetings. I did a professional development today and I made some errors and I wanted to try to correct that today. So I'm going to make a video. So we are going to try to make a fidget spinner in tinkercad. So our first step, please make sure that you are on inches in your unit setting and begin. So we're going to bring out a star into the work plane and we're going to change these dimensions to be 2 inches, the X and Y, and we are going to change the Z axis to 0.3. I'm changing some things on the fly here to make it just a little. I saw some different things today. I wanted to see if I could implement them into my fidget spinner today. So I am going to bring out one of these polygons. I saw a girl make one of these today and it was very interesting. I'm also going to change the color to something lighter that I can see and I can work better. And if you notice, these are already set at 1 and then 0.86. We're going to make both of them 1 inch for the sake of just making everything symmetrical. I'm going to drop the Z axis down to 0.25, quarter of an inch. And there we have it. Now we're going to start putting some holes into our fidget spinners. So I'm going to pull out a hole cylinder. It's not, again, something somebody showed me today. I'm learning on the fly too. If you work from the bottom view, you can see more precisely where your parts are going to be. So I'm going to go back to my normal front view. Okay, I like having my work plane up here front. So we're going to change this cylinder to 0.87. 0.87. And I'm going to shorten it down to about ½ inch, 0.5, because I found out today that it makes some shadows and it makes it more difficult to place it more precisely. So now that I have that, I'm going to use my arrow keys on my keyboard to bring it over about into the center of the star. I'm going to try to align them and see how they look, but I'm pretty certain that they're not going to be centered. Double check that again. And if I go to my top view, I see that it's not quite centered. So this is where I am going to change the snap grid to 1/64 of an inch. I'm going to click on the hole, go to my top view, and I'm going to move it by sight just over maybe about it's going to be maybe about 1/8 of an inch. I'm going to bring it up 1/64. Click out. It still does not look quite centered, so I'm going to bring it over to the right just another 1/64 and down a 1/64. And now I'm just looking at these distances here and they look a little closer. So I'm going to group that together and go back to my front view, and that I'm pretty happy with that. So I am going to now make my holes. We're going to add marbles inside of these parts. So I'm going to bring out another hole, and the marbles I measured in class. We made it a little smaller, but we're going to be more precise, and we're going to make this 0.62. 0.62, and I'm going to shrink it down to 0.5 to eliminate some shadows, and I'm going to roll it over, use my arrow keys. I like using my arrow keys to move things around on the work plane. I'm going to put it about in the center, and again I hope this lines up, and I'm going to put them together. I'm going to align them on the X and the Y axis. I'm going to go to my top view and double check, and it doesn't look quite perfect, But I'm going to roll with that, and I'm going to group them together, and there we go. We have that. Now, in order to make room for the marble, we want to have a little gap on one of these walls of this piece. So I'm going to pull out a cube hole, and I'm going to make one side 0.1. And now the idea is to get this lined up, and we want to put a break into one of these holes. So I'm going to bring that hole over, and I will try to align this on the y-axis only. I go to my top view again, make sure, and you see how it's cutting through right there? That is what we want. So I am going to group them together. And there I have my piece that I want. It's going to fill in these 5 pivot points on the star. I'm going to copy and paste 4 times. Copy it. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I'm going to start positioning them inside of the star. So I want to make sure, I'm going to do this one first because the hole is pointing out. I'm going to bring it in until it is touching the star, but I do not want it to go all the way through into this hole. I'm going to go to my top view again. I may have looked at it from the bottom too and see how that looks. It looks like it's in there pretty good. So I am going to stick there, and I am going to group that, and then I'm going to put the next one in. So I'm going to bring it around, and I'm going to rotate it so the gap is pointing out. So I'm going to click on that symbol right there, the arrows. I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to try 45 degrees and see how that looks. It's okay. I'm going to undo, and I'm going to do it 90 degrees. Okay. Probably doesn't need to go that far. I'm going to undo and try 75. There you go. I'm happier with that. I'm going to bring that into the star. Try to eye it up, center it up, without going inside of the center space. I'm looking, and it looks pretty good. I'm attached both sides. It looks pretty even. I'm going to group them. Go back to my view, and I'm going to bring the next piece in. Bring it up. So if I go 180, I'm going to go 270 to start and see what happens. And that is not what I like, so I'm gonna undo that. Let me try the 180. Sometimes if you don't type quick enough, it disappears on us. Go to my top view. Oops, I don't want that view. I want to stay here. Go to my top view. It's still not quite what I like. I want it to be pointing up on the opposite of that. So I'm going to try a little bit further. 30. Undo. try -30. There we go. See how now it's aligned more this direction? I'm going to pull that out, bring it in. And I'm going to look at the bottom just to double check. It looks pretty good. And I'm going to group it. Okay, now we have 2 more to do. I'm going to bring them both in while I'm at it, just so to get them out of the way, get them all in the workplace. Okay, so let's try this one first. We change that to 45. A little bit more. I want it to be pointing out. So let's just move it another 15 degrees. A little bit more. It looks pretty close. And this one, I'm going to rotate. I'm going to do 180. Work from there. Looks like it went too far. Just going to undo. -30. And now it looks closer. Now I'm just going to bring those 2 pieces in. Get the bottom view just to double check to make sure, and these look like they're in there pretty good. And now I'm going to group the whole piece, and there you have it. I hope you enjoyed the video. Click on the like below us, and I appreciate you watching. Thanks.